It's so good to see everybody. We have a smaller group today, but that's okay. And we may have a few people still join us late. I want to welcome you. I am Carole Peters, and I know all of you, so I don't need to give you a whole lot of information. But I'm not sure that Carlos and Stacy would know that I served as a CEO at a small United Way in Illinois. And during that time, when I was on the United Way of Illinois State Board Association, I was one of the chairs of the board at one point, but worked on that executive committee with Sue Gray, who is here today as well. And so Sue's going to introduce herself in a little while. But there's just we were having a quick chat here at the beginning, just a personal chat. But it's so great to see all of you, and we're just thankful for the time we'll spend together. I'm going to turn it over to Ivy to introduce herself and give you some just general housekeeping before we get started.
So, hello, my name is Ivy Cirillo, and I'm the Marketing, Communications, and Events Manager at United Way Next. I was a member of United Way Next before I became a staff member because I did work at Sioux Empire United Way. I'm originally from Florida, but I am currently in South Dakota. And for today's session, I'll just go over a couple of housekeeping items. So we do ask that you type your questions into the chat, but we are a small group, so there will be a Q&A, and you are more than likely able to just raise your hand when we're on a particular slide if you want to ask a question. And if you want to ask anything anonymously, you can always send me a direct message, and I'll put it in the chat or read it out loud for you. And then if you would prefer to put your questions in the chat and not speak them out loud, you can always mention that too, and we'll take care of it. After the session, I'll be sure to send everyone a copy of the slides and any resources mentioned during today's call. You should also have the ability to turn on closed captions, and if you need any other accommodations, just let me know. We want to make sure that all of our events and everything else is accessible to you. And then I do just want to give a quick shout out to our incredible event programming sponsors, as well as our mentor program sponsor, and that's going to be Mutual of America, Front Stream, Third Sector Company, and Board Build. And we've already hit record, so I will just hand it back over to Carole.
Thanks, Ivy. Well, I see that Stacy's colleague joined, so we look like we have two Stacys in the room. But if you want, you can go ahead and change your name so we know who you are. We have a slide deck that we are going to use, but what I'd like to do before we even launch into the slide deck is really, since we're a small group today, just take a few minutes to go around the room and introduce yourselves. Today is really about making connections so that you feel like you're a part of a community way beyond this big network that you've been a part of. And some of you are in the network still working. Some of you are already recently retired. Some may be alumni. They're not all here represented on the screen today, but those listening later could be alumni that are working elsewhere. So we just really want folks to feel a part of something and being a part of this community. So if it's okay, since Ivy and I have already introduced ourselves, I'll start with who I see on the screen first, which is Sue Gray. So Sue, if you want to unmute and just introduce yourself so people can get to know you better.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon. I'm in Central Illinois, so Central Time. And I just retired a whole week ago from the United Way of Champaign County, which is in Central Illinois, about 2.5 hours south of Chicago, just for frame of reference, if you want to know that. I spent almost 20 years at my United Way, and about 13 and a half years as the CEO. So I've done a lot of work within the network, with Great Rivers, the regional conference, with United Way of Illinois, and of course locally in my own United Way. So I'm happy to be here today and part of United Way Next.
Thanks, Sue. I'm so excited to have Sue a part of this. She is a great resource to this network and will continue to be so in retirement. Carlos, would you like to go next? Hope you're on mute. There you go.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm Carlos Lima, Executive Director here at United Way of Chatham County, North Carolina, in my first year with United Way. So I'm the young kid in the block, still learning a lot and getting the benefit of some of the webinars that I've watched from United Way Next. So looking forward to learning more and getting the best and taking advantage of you guys.
That's awesome. I
Thank
remember
you.
when you joined. Was it exactly a year ago in March that you came?
I came back last May,
Matt, oh, in
but
May.
still
Okay.
not a year.
I think I knew you
Almost
were
there.
I think you were arriving, but you hadn't gotten here yet. So, okay, great.
Yeah.
Stacy number one, the real Stacy, would you like to go first?
That's funny. Hi, my name is Stacey Ben-Ezra. I'm from United Way Space Coast in Central Florida. I have only been in this role as Director of Community Impact since January, but this is my second time working for United, this particular United Way, and I have previously worked for United Way of Indian River County, further south of in Florida, before this. I was super happy to be connected with Next and Carole and have already been assigned a mentor. I met with my mentor and that went really well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Next has to offer and inviting my teammates to join because I think it's really a great thing and beneficial for everybody.
That's awesome. Thanks, Stacy. And Kaylin, would you like to go next?
Sure. So my name is Kaylin Woods. I'm the Community Impact Manager at United Way Space Coast. As you can tell, I'm not really great with Zoom, so I'm still navigating that. But I've been working with United Way Space Coast for about 5 years, almost six. I did many hats. So I started off as an AmeriCorps Vista, which is basically a volunteer position. And then I moved on to ACA Navigator. I was a coordinator for a year and a half, and now I'm a manager. So I'm still learning a lot. I'm excited to be even doing like a mentorship program. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. It's so exciting to hear about all of your backgrounds and experiences. Ivy, let's go ahead and pull up the slide deck. So we want to stay on track because there's a lot of great content in the deck that we've prepared. But we'll move through some of these slides pretty rapidly because we've covered some of the information already. So,
And while I'm just moving this over real quick, one of the things I was going to mention, Carole already said that Kirsten, one of our team members, is not going to be here today, but a few of us do have experience working with AmeriCorps, including Kirsten and myself. I was with the Big Brothers Big Sisters Reads Literacy Program in Indian River County in Florida, and I want to say that Kirsten, when she worked with AmeriCorps, was in Illinois, but I could be wrong.
probably since she's from Kankakee and Iroquois County. Well, and while Ivy's pulling that up, let me just talk a little bit about United Way Next to get us started. So, um, United Way Next was formerly the Retirees Association, and we were launched in 1990 by a group of United Way professionals who were really passionate about staying connected with the people that they had worked with their entire careers. So we're celebrating this last year our 35th anniversary. And we just wrapped up officially like the 35th campaign, but we're now launching an endowment campaign that will just take us through this next calendar year until the end of March to continue kind of celebrating the momentum of this rich network this community that we're a part of. And so our United Way Next community is made up, and I've already alluded to this, of retirees, alumni, and current staff. And then local United Ways can also join and be members. So, Carlos, you represent a United Way, and your United Way is currently supporting us. And Space Coast United Way is also supporting us. And when Sue was at United Way, which literally a week ago left, and she moved into retirement, her United Way is supporting. So you all have been a part of this for a while. You may be new to your teams, so you maybe didn't know that, but we're just grateful for all the support that we receive from our members. All right, thank you, Ivy. So, here are the faces of the people at United Way Next. We always say we're a small but mighty team. We are a beautiful, bold group of women who work really hard to provide all the resources that we can and be as engaging and provide really the best experience for you. Kirsten manages all of the membership work and is intimately involved in working with members through, our mentorship program, consultant collaborative, and some of the other things that we're doing. Obviously, you've met Ivy. She oversees marketing, communications, and events. So any of these virtual events that you're coming to, you're always going to have likely see Ivy and myself. I serve as the CEO, and together we make up this team. And then on our next slide, we're featuring our two incoming chair and our current board chair. So Ann Fox is the current chair. Ann worked at local United Way, Berks County, United Way out in Pennsylvania, and ended up working at United Way Worldwide. And her background is fundraising. So she is on our planned giving faculty, and she's a really great leader, someone that has so much experience within the United Way system and, like probably more than 20 years in the system. She's working currently for another not large national federated nonprofit, but kind of winding up her time there. And then Karen Honda Gudioso, for those of you in the network may recognize her. She is with United Way of Northern New Jersey, and she's our incoming chair. Karen helps oversee the team that works with ALICE, which is the Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. So if you have ALICE in your state, you likely know Karen and her team. So we're grateful to the two of them to serve on our board and be part of the leadership team. Next slide. So today's agenda, we're just, breeze through this. So we already kind of talked about who we are. We'll talk about what we're about. We'll talk about a little bit about how we've grown over the last 35 years, who we're serving, what we offer so that you can make sure you're tapping into all of those member benefits, how we're structured. We have a lot of volunteers involved, and without them, we wouldn't be able to do the incredible work that we offer in support of the network and to our alumni members and retirees. And then where do you benefit? Like, how are you going to benefit in this moment? So next slide, please. So who we are. So Ivy, I should say this. If you want to say anything on any of these slides, please just unmute and speak, because we don't rehearse these things. We kind of naturally flow through them, but want to make sure she has an opportunity to be a part of this. So I've kind of already alluded to this, that we're current and former United Way professionals. That's who makes up United Way Next. And we are very diverse, very inclusive. We want anyone who's ever worked at United Way as a professional to feel they're a part of this network. When it was started years ago, of course, the focus was on these retirees who had served their entire career at the United Way. But as time passes, we know not everyone's going to spend 20, 30, 40 years within the same sector or the same organization. So we're very open to having everyone at every level. And that's how we've even framed some of our programming to ensure that the people who have just started a week ago and the people who retired a week ago feel like they can be involved. And I mentioned the alumni members. We have alumni members that work all over the world that have worked at United Way for any period of time, but have gone elsewhere and are working still full time. Most of our retirees, though, are truly retired, and they're volunteering their time within United Way Next and other organizations. So we have more than 500 individual members and 200 organizational members meaning those local United Ways. And these are just some of the faces of the folks that you would see within our community.
And
Next
one of
slide.
the things that I was going to mention is
Oh.
not only do we help people throughout their entire United Way journey when they come in all the way through retirement, but also with different stages of their United Way journey, and for individuals that come in at different stages in their life. For me, I am somebody that I've worked in basically every industry under the sun, from like cars and food and childcare and all of the things, and I only came into professionally working in nonprofits and not just volunteering for them or being on boards of them in 2023, and that was with the United Way, and then came to United Way Next. Well, we've also got members that their first internship was a United Way internship, and they continued on to multiple United Ways and retired from the United Way network. So there are all different journey types in here as well, not just different member segments, but also the people that they've never worked anywhere other than United Way, and some that have worked everywhere under the sun. So you will get a lot of variety there as well.
Thanks, Ivy. Do you want to take the slide or do you want me?
Sure. So what we're about. One of the things that really brought me into United Way Next was I was working currently at a United Way, and I didn't always feel the most, I didn't feel the community of being in that United Way. I felt the community outside of it and locally, but it wasn't until I started attending United Way Next events that I felt like I belonged in the United Way network. So that is something that we are absolutely striving for through diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, justice, is creating that culture of belongingness, and that's kind of what our 35th anniversary celebrated and honored and brought to light. And so part of the reason that I'm also with United Way Next is because of our commitment to our community and all of those things. That's really important to me as somebody that's neurodivergent and chronically ill and disabled. So all of those things and connection and collaboration and continued impact is what really drives United Way Next, making connections and making a difference. And so we have everything from mentorship and leadership development to storytelling, networking, celebration, and we're just proud to carry forward the values and the vision that define the United Way spirit and to share in that with you. And if you did want to go ahead and put your cameras over the QR code, you would be able to see our vision, our purpose, and our community commitment that are all on our website as well.
And we'll be sending out these slides at the end, not today necessarily, but we'll do the recording and send this out. So you'll have access to all this information as well. Thanks, Ivy. There we go. So this slide, and I alluded to this at the beginning while we were getting started. So, we want to really showcase the rich roots of our organization, who we were initially in 1990 as a retirees association. When we rebranded and renamed the organization in 2022 was the time when I came into the organization, although I was a network CEO. So I remember the Retirees Association, and I was being solicited by them to be a part of it and a member of it with a little bit confusion because I was brand new when I got the packet in the mail, and I said, wait a minute, I just started at the United Way. How is it that they're sending me something about the retirees? And then later learned that they really were very focused on support to the network and serving and being mentors and providing leadership development. So had I really understood the model, I probably could have tapped into it early on in my United Way career, but I didn't. So I'm grateful that the name did change and people get a sense that it's an alumni association that does have a commitment to current and former United Way professionals. And we still honor all of those retirees because we have a lot of them that, as Ivy alluded, served most of their career in the United Way system. So we are grateful. And I also want to give a shout out that there are a lot of people like Sue, who's on the call today, that serve 15, 20, 30 years in the network, but they maybe started somewhere else, right? So even if they didn't have their whole career here, we still honor those folks that have really spent a good amount of time. And Stacy, you were with another United Way. So it's like some people have multiple United Way journeys. We have alumni that are actually thinking about coming back to the United Way network. So a lot of them join United Way Next as a way to enter back into the system. And I encourage people to do that. Like, even if people are listening to this afterwards and they're thinking to themselves, gosh, I didn't think of United Way Next as a way back into the network. There are people who do that, and then they can list themselves as a member. They can engage in this community, and we can actually be there for them as they're beginning that transition back into the network. Next slide, please. So we talked about this just a few minutes ago, so I won't go into too much detail, but we are here for United Way staff that are currently working within the system. We're here for the alumni who've moved on and gone elsewhere, and we're here for our retirees. Our retirees love to get together in person and do activities and events if they can. Although we love seeing our alumni doing the same, many of them still have small groups of folks that they get together on a regular basis just because the in-person is great. Those are coordinated typically by themselves, but because they connect here, they have the ability to reconnect in their communities. Next
And
slide, please.
one of the things I was going to highlight real quick is just for current United Way staff, this isn't limited to local United Ways in the US. This also includes those in other countries as well, so international United Ways and state associations too.
Thanks, Ivy. And we've had several international members join recently and attend some of our sessions, which really makes us proud because we had very limited number of people internationally involved. And we're trying to expand up into Canada this year as well to really ensure that our colleagues all over the world feel that they can be a part of this network. So, what do we offer? So just so that, this is kind of the member benefits piece, right? For those of you who haven't really been as involved, we have virtual events that we offer. We advertise those in the Global Digest. So you can scroll to the bottom of the Global Digest on Wednesdays and see any of the upcoming events that are offering in the next 4 weeks. We have all of those events also on our website, and we have those already listed out for the entire year. So you can look ahead, you can click and register and sign up. We send the recording links and all the information after the event. So if you see something and it's on a day that you can't attend, we still encourage you to register so you can get the information later. We also really want you to think about these professional developments or these events as professional development. So when people are thinking about making an investment in United Way Next as a local United Way, that investment opens this up for your entire team. So people don't have to join individually from local United Ways unless they want to. Now, we always encourage that because membership cost is really low. It's $35 for an individual, and local United Ways start at $100. So we have a dedicated program to elevate and connect consultants. So we call it the Consultant Collaborative. And this might be something for some of you that are newly in retirement, thinking about what's next, right? What's the next piece? Even for some of our network professionals, they have side gigs or side hustles that are consulting. They're doing consulting, they're doing coaching, they're doing project-based work. We have 63 consultants that have joined our Consultant Collaborative in the last year. It was launched last September. Those folks are available for hire to work in the network. If we get requests from local United Ways that say, hey, I'm going to be working on strategic planning, or I need an executive coach, or gee, someone's going to be off on a maternity leave and we need them to fill a marketing role, we have people in that network that would be part of the talent pool that you could tap into. And I'm just thinking, I know Space Coast United Way is on here represented today, that they've tapped into the Consultant Collaborative and are already using someone to help them with their HR support. So that's an awesome resource to our network. And it's equally important for our consultants that are members. They have all had a United Way experience. They're doing work all over the country, and they too can connect and refer to each other and do business outside of the network, right? Alumni members could tap into that as well. And even our retirees who might be serving on a board, they should consider this as a potential talent pool for them as well. Personalized support as you're navigating your career journeys and life transitions. We call them Next Chapter Chats. We've had a Next Chapter Chat in January. We'll have another one at the end of the year, but we have 3 other dedicated sessions that are really centered around career transition. A lot of alumni that, or I should say a lot of professionals that find themselves in that space might be pre-retirement, retirement, they've lost a job. It might be a furlough. There's been layoffs this year across the nonprofit sector. We want to make sure our members and anyone that is a United Way professional feels they can come here to receive that added support. And that was something that we took on in 2024. It was a newly developed program, but it's been highly successful and it's really been very beneficial. We have people who do mentoring that center around career coaching. So added kind of bonus there if people need it. And it could also be people who are new to the network. They're coming into the United Way and they're like, I'm transitioning in, and I just want to talk to somebody who can help me as I transition into the network, but also have that United Way background to help me with some of the institutional knowledge. We have a private LinkedIn group for United Way professionals, over 5,000 members. It's a great network to tap into. We encourage people who, at the end, I think we've got the links for you to connect to that group. I would highly recommend we all connect on LinkedIn if you have a LinkedIn profile, because that's just starting this connection today, right? So we get to know each other, you connect there, and then we add you to that LinkedIn group. You can post jobs in that LinkedIn group. You can see jobs that have been posted. In fact, I posted a job the other day for a United Way professional, And another member reached out privately and said, I thank you for posting that because it was not a United Way job. It was outside of the network, and this person actually ended up applying for the position. So any kind of engagement in that LinkedIn group is excellent. We offer CEO, staff, and endowment and plan giving mentorship opportunities. So we have 22 people who are volunteering as volunteer faculty for planned giving. They're standing at the ready to support you with your endowment plan giving journey, whether you're launching or relaunching a program. If you're staff or CEO, I know Stacy's on the call and she's already been connected as a community impact professional with someone from our United Way Next community. So you can reach out directly to me. Ivy will include that in our follow-up email. And I currently help make those mentor and mentee matches. Our website is super easy to use. Ivy's done an incredible job. She rebuilt the whole thing last year, and it really spotlights our members, the contributions, and lots of articles and things that you can tap into. And then, of course, the membership for anyone who's not a member that's listening to this later, you can, as I mentioned earlier, join for as little as $35 a year to be a part of this incredible community. And local United Ways who maybe haven't tapped into us, I mean, for $100, you can't beat it, right? Now, we always encourage local United Ways to think about their size, their revenue size, and maybe consider a larger than $100 gift to us. But we use those dollars very strategically, and that's what keeps us being able to move forward and offer all the resources that are available.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was going to add is, in addition to the private LinkedIn group, we've also got, so that one is open to anyone, whether or not they're a member of United Way Next, but they do have a background in United Way experience. And then we've got a Facebook group dedicated to United Way Next members, and we have another LinkedIn group specifically for consultant collaborative members. So there are some larger groups and some smaller groups, and then I believe we will also show you guys a little bit of behind the scenes, but we have built out a consultant collaborative hub for all of those members to find their resources, and we are currently rolling out in a couple of different phases our new membership hub that we've built with a lot of the resources that Carole has mentioned, and we've made them a little bit easier even for individuals that are new to the network. I've included a section for people that are 100% new to the network, what UWW offers for orientations, something that I wish that I would have known about when I first started with United Way, as well as resources from our events and our speakers and book recommendations and all of the things. So we'll share about those as well. And then I think next is how we're structured.
All right. So as we shared at the beginning, there's three of us on the team. Technically, we're all part-time. We don't work, we're our other two staff are hourly, so we work some limited hours. We're typically here Monday through Thursday from 8:30 till 5 Eastern. Kirsten works less hours than Ivy and I. So sometimes if you do get an out of office, just know we are paying attention and we'll be in touch with you as soon as we return. We have a 19-member board of directors, and we have 4 different work groups. We actually had 7, but we've merged them to kind of be as efficient and streamline our work with over 40 volunteers that are helping with that. Assuming that you may have some time in your schedule and you want to be involved with those work groups, we're happy to have a one-off conversation to talk about them. We have our executive committee, we have the nominating committee, we have a finance and resource development committee, and then we have our diversity, equity, inclusion work group, as well as our engage and exchange work group, which Ivy oversees as part of this the programs and all of the things that we're working on that are really more for our members. So I mentioned the plan giving faculty, so we've got 20, actually I think 21 now that are serving in that volunteer capacity role. So as you're thinking about kind of your what's next in your role, if ever you were to want to be a mentor or serve on a work group or engage as a plan giving faculty or be there as a CEO staff mentor, we certainly can find ways for you to plug in. But we know those who are actively working are probably really busy at this point, but at some point you might say, you know what, as you get further along in your career journey, you may have a little more time to maybe invest in that. So we welcome you to consider all the volunteer activities that are available through United Way Next. Next slide, please. So Ivy, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so maximizing your membership. After this one, I will show you the hub because it does make it a little bit easier for you guys. So no matter where you are in your journey, we are here to support you, whether that's you're new to United Way, you are ready to move on to something else, whether that be consulting, retirement, going out of the network, anything. And just if you are part of the member segments, professional, alumni, retiree, or your local, state, or international United Way, like, we are here for you. And we've created a ton of opportunities. So like we've mentioned in our member benefits, you can attend events and make connections with other members. You can explore resource libraries, directories, and on-demand event recordings. I'll show you those in a minute. And then you can take advantage of our interim executive support services and submit RFPs. So we have talked about if you wanted to submit an RFP to the Consultant Collaborative, we've got those 63 members that would be open and ready to take a look at it and apply if they are a good fit. Otherwise, if you are looking for interim executive support services, we do have a partner in a third sector company where we would be able to help you find interim CEOs and interim chief development officers. And then they also have a program too where United Way Next members get 30% off if they wanted to become an interim and go through that program as well. And then you can stay engaged via our online communities and our newsletter. So as a member, you would get access to all of our LinkedIn groups, all of our Facebook groups. You would be added to our mailing list, and then you would also have access as a member that even if you left your United Way or you're not at a United Way currently, you would get a login that you could still access United Way online, and you would still be able to receive the Global Digest even though you aren't working at a United Way actively. So those are just a couple of ways that you can maximize your membership. And then I will stop sharing real quick just to pull up the membership hub, and then I will show you guys that.
We're super excited about the membership hub, and it's a rollout that's happening. It started happening already, but it's in phases only because we want to make sure our members, if they have a lot of technology questions, that we have staff time available to support those requests as they come in. So as local United Ways who support, you'll have direct access. The CEO will get the access point. So the CEOs, I think, are on track to receive that at the beginning of May. So Ivy, I think she's going to share her screen.
Yep. So we do have two hubs currently, the Consultant Collaborative Hub and the United Way Next Membership Hub. They both live on our website. So if you've purchased a membership with us and you've already logged in and you made an account, then you would use the same login as you would to purchase. And sometimes people check out as a guest, so you would have to make your account, but it lives on the website. So at any point you can still get to the entire website from here, and you can easily switch between the hubs if you are in more than one. So with the membership hub, we make the homepage super easy. You would be able to see all of the most recent blog posts. You would be able to read about each of the events that we offer because we do have a few different series. And then when you click learn more, you'll be taken to the playlist on YouTube. So if you are specifically, we don't have a community impact one. I know that a few of you guys are community impact, but let's say you wanted to be a part of our personal discovery sessions that touches on like strength finders, and I know that we've talked about Enneagrams and things like that. So you could go there, you would see the entire playlist of all of our recorded events that fit within that category. And then as we scroll down, your go-to resources. So if you're an individual member, you would click here. If you're a United Way Next or a United Way member or a state association, you would click here. And then on that page, we have made it very easy. Actually, let me go back to this one. We've made it super easy where you would be able to get an understanding of what you're going to be able to find, you can make the most of your membership. So we've curated specific links that we think fit best with your membership type. So you might want to go to events, you might want to look at the programs that make sense for your organization, the mentorship opportunities, resources. We now have a resource library that you can search a bunch of different ways, but we've broken it down for local United Way's international and state associations on this page. And then ways that you can be spotlighted or look at some spotlights of United Way Next members and even United Ways that might be near you. And then news, articles, all of those things. We talk about ways that you can stay connected. So you've got all the links to all of the platforms and everything. And then if you needed support, exactly how you could get it from us, plus just a little blip about really the best support that we can offer and who to reach out to on our team. And then there's always going to be this footer down here so that you can still access everything that is on the website, because the normal website menu that would be up here is replaced with the membership hub navigation. And then we've also got the consultant directory. So if you are looking for a consultant or you have joined the consultant collaborative, we do have a directory of all of our consultants. I believe 40-ish out of the 60-ish are in here already. Not everyone has opted in yet, but you can see their top 4 consulting specialties, where they're at, their involvement with United Way Next, and then if you clicked on them, you'd actually get to see a little bit more about them. So you would be able to see their credentials, how they like to work together, all of their consulting specialties, their journey with United Way, their department experience, if they managed multiple departments or if they just worked in community impact and then they stuck with that their entire career. Anything like that you would be able to find in here. And then we also have that resource library that we were talking about. It is not completely finished. We are still adding things to it every single day, every single event. So you would be able to organize it by member segment, department, organization type, your org size, hopefully, because we do know that some people call in and they've got a team of 5 or less, and then some people join our calls that have 60 plus employees. So we want to make sure that we are providing resources that fit you, your journey, and your needs. And then you would also have the opportunity to log into United Way Online, go to all of our YouTube videos, take a look at the landing page for Thriving United Way framework, because we do know that that's super big for our current staff members at the moment, our United Way worldwide town halls, and then the book recommendations, because a lot of our speakers and our event attendees do recommend books during our calls. So at this point, I'm just starting a little virtual library of them for you guys to take a look at. And you would be able to easily just click on these links, and it's either stuff on our website, stuff on United Way Worldwide, stuff on United Way Online's website and platform, or just things that have been mentioned that we know that you guys would want access to. And then Consultant Collaborative, they've got some similar stuff, but they've also got their page set up a little bit differently, because they have some separate events that you only have access to as a Consultant Collaborative member. So we make sure that they have a separate past events library that only they can access, and then they are also able to see those available RFPs. So if anybody, and right now we've got 3 up, I believe, if somebody submitted an RFP, then individuals would be able to actually take a look at each of these here, and then they can just click on the express interest or ask questions by clicking on the name, and they would be able to apply for that separately. But if that's ever anything that you, your United Way, your organization, anything needed, we would be more than happy to put the RFPs on here, and we are currently building an RFP form to make it that much easier for everyone involved.
Lots of things. And I will just say this, this hub that she's showing is all brand new. What we had when I started 4 years ago was an old website with not a lot. And we just thankfully, with Ivy's talent and her vision for this, have really created something special that I think makes it easier now for all of our members to come in and see what's available to them at kind of at their fingertips. Because it's not always easy to navigate a website either. So I'm not sure how much we really have left on our slides, and I want to make sure you all have a chance to ask questions. We've done a lot of talking. So why don't we, I think we've covered, it looks like all the stuff here. Okay, so, if you want to get involved. So if you want to get involved, anything with regard to our membership, we want you to feel a part of it, encourage you to think about being a mentor down the road. If you would like to be mentored, you can, again, request that through me. If you provide consulting or do contract work, obviously you might want to consider being a consultant collaborative member. There is a fee to join the collaborative. So membership to be is $35 for a next member and $200 in addition to be in the collaborative. That helps cover just the cost of putting together the directory and all the good things that we do. And then as far as helping shape United Way Next, you all can be a part of that, right? Our future is bright because of the incredible people who are part of this community. It's not just our team that does this work, it's all of you that are part of it. And then promoting your organization. Sometimes people that are joining these calls are working elsewhere and their company might be interested in being a sponsor. They may be an author and they have a book that they would like us to promote and be a part of the affiliate program. Or like the third sector company who offers a 30% discount, that's like a referral or a discount program that we can offer. So if you represent any of those folks or know those folks, please refer them over our way. And then the last bullet, just sharing your expertise in writing an article or being one of our guest speakers. So all of the guest speakers who show up and present for our series throughout the entire year are United Way Next members and former United Way professionals. They do it for free and they're investing their time and energy into those programs. They're excellent programs. So if you haven't had a chance to participate in some of the ones with that curated content, it's just super. But you might see yourself as a future guest speaker. And so when our RFP launches in late summer, early fall, we'd love for you to consider that. And if you like writing our articles, Ivy is always looking for someone who can do a blog for her. So with that, I think we want to open it up and ask some questions and really see, how do you see yourself? What member benefits are you most excited about and want to take advantage of? So we'll take the slide down and really open it up now for some attention on all of you.
I had a question.
Yeah.
So how long is the turnaround time to get a mentor?
That's a really good question. So currently, I have no one in the queue that's requested a mentor who hasn't been fulfilled. I think for Stacy, it took me a little longer for her to have a mentor because I was waiting for someone specifically who had been traveling and was out of town. But as soon as he got home, he read the email and he was a resounding yes, count me in. We have, although we don't need to show where they are on the website, there is a mentor directory. And we have people in the directory that you could go and look at to say, would these be people you might want to work with? Now we're building it out with adding all of our mentors because we only had our plan giving faculty mentors listed there for the longest of time. And we've just started adding more people. So we want to make sure there's people there that represent community impact, financial, management that may have, a background with 211 or a state association that have all these different unique backgrounds that could be supportive to you. So, Kaylin, if you would like a mentor, we can certainly have a conversation about that. The easiest way, excuse me, is for us to just connect offline for 30 minutes on a Zoom call so I get to know you better and what might be beneficial. And if Stacy's your supervisor and she's encouraging that, then we've already got her kind of her yes to this. And then from there, I would go looking for the right mentor. I'd encourage you to look at the link that Ivy threw in the chat. And if you want, you can, if you feel comfortable grabbing my email from there, you can just shoot me over an email and let me know kind of maybe a little bit about what you're looking for. And I'll be happy to tell you more about it when we connect. I will be at the Southeast Regional Conference next week, so I will not be available to work on all those assignments. So for you, it might just take me 2 weeks from
Okay.
here. Yeah. But by the end of April, we would have somebody identified and have you connected. And I'll just say this so that you know, and then I'll have Stacy share. When I connect you to a mentor, so to give you an idea what that looks like, you would be working with someone for maybe up to a year, sometimes longer. Those people are dedicated to working with you on whatever you need. So they kind of meet you where you are. If you are looking for someone to meet with you on a regular recurring basis, that typically works out best. So like the first 3 months, you may only meet once a month, but if it makes sense for your schedule, we would encourage that. And I always say that it's best to do three recurring calls to kind of get started. And from there, you can decide how many more do you need, right? And once people get started, they stay along the course for a long time, and it seems to go really well. So Stacy, I saw your hand, and then I know Carlos, you unmuted as well. So why don't we go with Stacy first, and then Carlos, I'll let you go next.
I have a quick question about hold on a second. I just lost my screen. The next membership hub. So I think our United Way has joined as an organization.
Mhm.
So individually, how would we sign up? Because there's a member login. So we would have to create an account for ourselves individually
So
on the membership hub.
I'm going to let Ivy answer that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
just created an account for myself.
yes.
Okay.
So right now, the Consultant Collaborative members do have access to the entire Consultant Collaborative Hub. And we have rolled out the membership hub to some individuals so far. Like Carole mentioned, we're trying to make sure that we don't give it to all 600 individuals and then all 600 of you are like, something's broken, I need help. We want to make sure that you guys are receiving help in a timely manner,
Okay.
and whatever support that you guys need throughout this process. So I'm not sure where United Way Space Coast is on the list, but I will say that I am writing an article about the membership hub, and I will include a form that says, if you want early access, just click here, and then that way we can kind of give it to you a little earlier than planned. And I'll make sure to actually make a note now that Space Coast wants to be on the early access list.
Okay.
Yes.
But it would kind of work like this. So whoever is the contact at your United Way organization, they would be the one that receives the invitation to set up the account. And then if you are an individual member as well, you would also receive an invitation that you would be able to set up your own account, that even if you left your United Way, you could still retain your membership, you could still go into the hub, all of those things. But I'm not sure, I could probably look in our system, but I'm not sure who your contact is at Space Coast, that they would be the one that gets the login. And it's kind of their determination that either they could create a general login that your whole staff can go under, or they might decide that, like, let me know if you need a resource and I've got the login and I'll just go in and look for it for you. But you guys can also always email us and just ask us for whatever you're looking for, and we will make sure that you have access to it. But unless any of that has changed, I know Carole will speak to that, and she might be able to share a little bit more about what it'll look like on the United Way side of things.
Yeah. So for Stacy's benefit, it'll go to Kelly. We'll get the access point when we roll it out, but again, it would be up to her. And I'm sure she's going to be wanting to share that. Her and Michelle would share that information with all of you, at least like the leadership team, right? So that you would have access to all of that. A lot of the information that Ivy's talking about that's in the membership hub is on our website. So you can still
Okay.
get access to it. It's not like we've trying to prevent a barrier, but what we don't give access to currently is the consultant collaborative directory. That's locked down intentionally because United Ways have to pay to be a member to gain access to the directory, or
Okay.
individuals, right? Now, if you were just like, I'm ready, I want in, I don't want to worry, you can pay $35 and be an individual member. And then once that rolls out, you just have your own access point, right? But I don't think you need to do that because I do think your United Way will share that with you. And Carlos is on, he's a CEO, so he'll be the one to get the email. He'll have direct access in. What I will say, because we're talking about it today and you'll be excited to want to have access, I don't know that if you sign up and set up an account, you can just get into the hub yet because we have it still tight, right? Intentionally, because this is like brand new, but it's in a
Mhm.
rolled out phase. So I know Carlos said he created an account, and Sue is a member, so she will get access, but she may not be able to get in there quite yet. So it's coming. It's coming soon. Like we actually hoped it would have already been launched, but we realize with staff vacations and a conference, we sometimes just can't make everything happen overnight. So we put our
Right.
magic wands away until next week when we have more time to do it. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Carlos, I saw you had unmuted.
That it was just to share that while we were having the conversation, I used a link. I went online, I created an account. I don't have access to the hub, but I have access to a lot of resources here. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
And
you're
I may
welcome.
need to hop off early because I have another meeting at 1 that I need to get ready for. But thank you very much. I really appreciate the information on the
Yeah.
call today.
And if Carlos, you're looking for a mentor, I saw you wrote something about mentorship in the chat. We can have a one-off call to talk about that.
Yes, I think that we will eventually get to that. But yes, that was one of the things that interested me in today.
Okay, great. Are you going to the Southeast Regional Conference next
No,
week?
someone from our staff is Daisy. She's going to make a presentation there on the dashboard, but I'm not going,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Well,
Not this
I'll go
time.
find him. All right, take care. Thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Bye.
Kaylin, Stacy, Sue, any other questions or thoughts or even a reaction to all of it?
No, it's great. I love it. And I'll connect with you about, I need to breathe for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would like to be able to be a mentor
Yes.
if there's a need, particularly for small United Ways.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm very interested in and being able to stay connected. So,
I would love that.
um, I'll
I
connect
think,
with you in the next couple of weeks. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, let's
So,
circle back. Give yourself some breathing room, but I will,
yeah,
I'll write myself a note to send you the mentor opt-in form for the directory. And then
great.
you could just fill it all out so it's in the queue for us so we can get you added to that directory and then we
Perfect.
can talk about what that looks like once you're ready.
Yeah,
I
love
make
that.
those
Thank you.
currently, I make all those assignments. So whether you were in the directory or not, I'd probably be calling you in a month going, "Hey, how would you like to?"
Yeah,
So thank you.
absolutely.
That's great.
Mhm.
And I know Stacy had a question, but I also wanted to just mention real quick to Sue. We, like Carole mentioned, we do have two next chapter chats this year. The first one was kind of geared towards individuals that might be in transition due to job loss or restructuring or anything like that. And the next one is actually going to be geared towards those that are either planning or new or just existing in retirement. And so that one might be a good one for you as well.
Yeah, when's
Yeah.
that one coming up, Ivy?
I don't think until the fall. I think in
Okay,
October.
perfect. Yeah,
But here's what I will say, because we didn't really talk about this. There are peers in the network who have retired that have been in this for about a year and a half, and they're doing things different than they thought they were going to do when they first retired. And if you have
right.
a peer connection of somebody you may have known even years ago, I would be happy to make some introductions. And it may be people you never met that are across the country. Deborah Bale, who's in Salt Lake City, has been retired for many years. She's still very actively involved. She serves on a bank board. She's doing a lot of great things, but she is retired. And then she has a consulting gig that she does on the side and occasionally uses that as an opportunity to do some paid work just for kind of for fun. But she's
Yeah.
not doing like full-time work. She is really trying to just enjoy her life. So, and does a lot of traveling and spends time with her family. So she might be a great one. She's somebody that reminds me a lot of you, Sue. So that might be a great connection.
Oh, thanks. Would love that.
Yeah. All
Stacey,
right.
did you still have a question or comment?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to give some feedback about the whole process with the mentor thing. I loved it. I had a mentor at my last job with the AARP. I had told Carole that we're still in touch to this day, even though it was only supposed to be a 6-month thing and I don't work there anymore, but we still talk to each other all the time. Not to say that that would happen this time, but I really connected with the mentor that you assigned for me. And it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody from your department or discipline because he's RD and I'm CI, but he has such a wealth of experience and knowledge that it was a different take for me. Some of the ideas he had really made me realize that I was on the right track and thinking the right way. And he had some really good inspirational things that we talked about that I actually shared with our new director of RD. I was so excited. I ran over there and I was like, I need to tell you some stuff. So, yeah, it's a
Oh
great
my God.
experience.
That's great. Thank you. That is such a great testimonial. I will say this because I've invested quite a bit of time with the Space Coast team in Florida because of the transition that their United Way has gone through, and we've actually been intimately involved in it prior to even this group that's at that team. We were helping them before. And I think that what United Way Next is in a position to do is offer the white glove treatment that you can't receive somewhere else because we're small enough, we can be nimble. And when I say that, we can't be everything to everyone, but we work very closely in partnership with United Way Worldwide, the regional directors, and the state associations and their staff to ensure that we're coming alongside our members and the United Ways and our alumni members as well to just be there for you, answer the call, listen and learn about what you need, and then help point you in the right direction to find the resources that you really deserve in this moment. Someone described us as we're like a concierge, and they come and they make some connections, and then we point them in the right direction, and they're off and running. And then they come back a year later and they come back and say, hey, now I need something else. So Carlos, who was on the call earlier today, when their staff was in transition, their board was engaged with us. And they were doing a lot of work with our mentors to prepare for the arrival of Carlos. And then after he arrived, they kind of could hand things off to him again. So it's just interesting to see the dynamics and how this all plays out. And I'm so honored and privileged that I get to spend a lot of time in the network seeing this unfold. And so just makes me happy and proud. And so thanks for sharing that today, Stacy, because it means a lot to know that you're finding value, and I believe your team is as well. So, and with that said, we're kind of close to the end of the time. If there's any other questions or thoughts, Ivy, anything that you want to say before we log off?
The only thing I was going to mention is I will make sure that you guys get the recording, the resources, all of those things. I've jotted down the individuals or the local United Ways that might want early access to the membership hub. And we do have, I believe, 10 events this quarter that you guys can partake in. I would say 11, but two of those, or one of those, is really just Carole at Cirque. And so unless you guys are going to be there, that doesn't really count. So we do have a bunch of opportunities for you guys to get involved and to attend events and things like that. And then if you guys are interested in mentorship, that information will be included in my follow-up email as well. And so the only other thing that I would mention is just a thank you to our mentorship sponsor, Mutual of America, and our event programming sponsors, Front Stream, Third Sector Company, and Board Build.
And then I believe there's a survey at the end, right?
Yes.
So when you log off, right on your screen, there's like 3 questions we'd love for you to answer because it helps us really tailor this session to you and to the people who will participate in the future. So with that said, thanks everybody. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. And Caitlin, I'll look forward to talking to you soon. And Sue, I'll see you in a month or so. And Stacy, I'll talk to you and your team later. Okay. Thanks everybody. Great to see you. Thanks, Ivy.